This is Diana Sullivan in Austin, Texas, with another garter bar lesson. Here's the garter bar, and I'm going to use it to gather this knitting and make a ruffle. What I have here is several rows of garter stitch, followed by several rows of plain knitting. And I'm going to gather this for being on 30 stitches down to 15. So I'm going to put 2 loops on every single needle. Now the first step to gather is going to be to get the needle stopper on. So let me go ahead and bring out all of the needles and set the needle stopper in place. This whole process will be very much easier with these needles rigid. They don't go left or right, and they do not push in. They stay where they are. Next, I want to put the knitting onto the garter bar, so I'm just hanging it on the hooks and pulling the knitting out toward the garter bar. And I'm pushing it all the way down so that the stitches are at the base of the pegs. Then I push back a little bit to open the needles. And what I'm going to do to make this a little simpler process, since I had 30 needles to begin with and I need to cut down to 15, I'm going to push back 7 on the right and 8 on the left. That way I have less hooks in my way, and when I finish the decreasing, I'll know I've done it correctly if I'm on the right number of needles. After I'm down to 15 needles, I'm going to begin the decreasing by putting the garter bar on with the first stitch lined up with the first needle. And I'm just going to put 1 stitch on the first time. I just pushed it on with the fat part of my finger, and then I move over to the left. This time 2 stitches go on, and I push them far enough back so that the garter bar, the little points, will clear. Move over, 2 stitches again, because once again I want to have 2 stitches on every needle, so I have to do 2 stitches each time. This first stitch overlaps, and then the second one goes on by itself. Then when I move over, I overlap another stitch onto it. What I'm doing is first I'm popping the 2 stitches below this little wider spot in the bar so that they're down near the tip, and then I'm just using the pad of my finger to pop them onto needles. The garter bar is acting as a giant transfer tool. And I'm nearing the end of the row. The stitches are staying where I put them because I have a little bit of weight down here. And when I reach the end of the row, I've dropped a stitch, so I'll just pick that up and fix that. That slid right off the garter bar, so you just have to look and make sure things did what they were supposed to do. And I push my ruffle back. There are a great many situations in knitting where you need to gather the stitches, and that was a nice, efficient way to do it. Then I'm just going to knit a few rows and take the ruffle off and do a close-up so that you can see how the ruffle looks. Here is my little ruffle sample hanging from the gate peg so that I can get a close-up. Here is the nice garter stitch edge, flat, not rolling, springy, just a really nice tidy edge. And then as I unroll the ruffle a little bit, you can certainly see the line where the gathers occur and how nice they look. So it's the same effect as if you had used waste yarn and picked up the stitches with the transfer tool, but you saw how easy and convenient it was, And there are a lot of places you could use a nice ruffle like this. For instance, at the bottom of the sleeve.